American tears will be shed, that American lives will be ruined, that American children will have their whole futures ripped away from them. And you know all of this, and yet you still do it. You still set the criminal migrants free. You still let the Americans die. What kind of person does this to her fellow citizens? What kind of person does this to her own country? And yet you, ladies and gentlemen, have a chance, a once in a lifetime, never to come again chance to deliver justice for every American son, every American daughter, every American family. There is one thing that you can do, and only one thing you can do, and that is to vote for Donald Trump and send him back to the White House to seal that border shut, to send those politicians home, to protect our children, protect our babies, protect our husbands and wives and mothers and fathers and everyone that we love. And so I say to you, when Donald Trump was facing death itself, when that bullet nearly took his life, did he falter? Did he waver? Did he yield? Did he back down? Did he surrender? Did he give an inch? Or did he stand up, strong, tall, 3 inches round, and raise his fist into the air? And did he shout, fight, fight, fight? And now, people of Georgia, I need you to fight, fight, fight for America. Vote, vote, vote for America. Send back to the White House Donald J. Trump. So in January of 2025, you can look at the Oval Office and you can say, in that White House is my leader, in that White House is my president, in that White House is my champion, in that White House is a man, a brave and courageous man who will always put America first. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the great state of Georgia.
Well, we got to see who's coming up next to speak. But welcome, everyone. We're 8 days away to electing our 47th president of the United States. So every day we're getting closer and closer. And I just feel like this is so much different than any other election. I am really, I don't know if I'm concerned or I don't know. It's just a different feel than all the other elections. Like people always say that each election is, serious and people need to vote. But I really believe that this one really is an election that everyone must vote, and we need to make it too big to rig. I'm so happy that this election, what I see that's different is that people of all different races, all American citizens are coming together and we're standing as one. I've never seen before Black voters, Hispanic voters, Jewish voters, like all different ethnicity people are coming together and we're all standing up for one cause, and that's to make America great again. So it is so important, no matter which candidate that you are voting for, exercise your right to vote because it's that important. So I'm just really thankful that we're getting to the countdown, and I am supporting Trump this time. I am going to put up a video to show people that last election I was totally for Biden. I have videos with me with Biden, supporting Biden, the whole 9 yards, campaigning for him. And this year, this election, I'm standing with Trump this go around. So let's see if the music stops. Okay, here goes JD.
Now, we have a lot of incredible people helping us. I know we've got a lot of folks, just volunteers, just in this room, but I want to give a special shout out to a couple of people. In particular, you guys are very lucky in the state of Wisconsin to have a great United States Senator in Ron
He's
Johnson.
in
Ron, where are
Wisconsin,
ya?
so this is a live feed from JD Vance rally.
A good guy.
Thank
We've also got the
you,
great Congressman
Stacy.
Brian Style. Brian,
Yeah,
where
look,
are
I'm
you?
barefaced.
Thank you, man.
I don't wear makeup, but I usually kind of like at least put a little chapstick on. But sorry, you
And
guys, we
last
wanted
but
to get
certainly
this
not
up. I
least, the
was really
beautiful
busy
Mr. Vance.
today,
Thank you,
but
honey, for being here.
oh well. That's how it goes. I don't do all that makeup stuff.
Now, I was told actually right before I came on the stage that I guess Governor Tim Walz was here just a few days ago.
Wow. Boo.
And then they had, apparently they thought he was going to have 300 people, but he only had 200. That's too bad for Tim. But now we're here and we've got 1,000 people, so I'd say all the joy is with the Trump campaign.
Woohoo.
Now, why, of course, we have to ask ourselves, why is the joy with the Trump campaign? And I think there's a couple things that we have that they don't. First of all, I'm actually proud of my running mate's record, and Tim Walz is ashamed of his running mate's record. That's one big difference.
Yeah.
But I figured out, I think that the thing that we're allowed to do on the Trump campaign that they wish they
That's
could do
beautiful.
on the Harris-Walz campaign
Wow,
is
it's an
still
independent. Yeah, this is
to
the
the
first
American
time I'm
people.
voting Republican, and it's going to be for Trump.
There are all these little ways in which I think the dishonesty of the Kamala Harris campaign comes out, and some big ways too. But my favorite is I was reading a little bit about the news this morning, and I saw that Governor Tim Walz, they're going to appeal to the young men vote in the United States of America by playing Madden on the internet with AOC. That's their new strategy. They did that yesterday, and they did it, of course, during when most normal people were watching real football, not watching Madden online.
Yeah, Colorado, woohoo, Travis Hunter, they won.
He also, I guess, took to social media and said that AOC was really good because she ran a good pick six. And I'm like, I'm a casual football fan. I paid attention to the NFL and college football for most of my life, and I don't know what it means to run a pick six. You would. For the
pick six is when you do an interception and run it to,
offense,
if you can, to the end zone. That's what a pick six is.
A pick six is something that happens on the field.
Yeah.
And this guy's supposed to be a football coach, and I thought to myself, maybe I actually know more
what a
about
pick
football
six
than Governor
is.
Tim Walz. And it's appropriate because I think that Donald Trump knows more about working at McDonald's than Kamala Harris. So,
wow.
Now those are the little dishonesties that they tell about their past, but of course there's some big dishonesties that are at the heart of the Kamala Harris campaign. And the number one most important dishonesty is that she has nothing to do with what's been going on in the United States of America for the last 3.5 years. Kamala Harris would have us all believe that she was nowhere near Joe Biden, that she's had nothing to do with Joe Biden, that she doesn't even know what Joe Biden looks like, even though she has been the sitting vice president for the last 3.5, 4 years, and she used to brag that every major decision of the Biden administration, she was the last person in the room. And of course, not sometimes just the last person in the room, but we know because we can check the record that Kamala Harris cast the deciding vote on trillions of dollars of new spending. And what happened when we spent all that money? Groceries, gas, housing became less affordable. When the government prints money and spends money that it doesn't have, all of us pay that terrible hidden inflation tax.
Yeah,
and we have Kamala Harris to thank for it. And so it takes a special audacity, a certain shamelessness that I think can only come from a true career politician for her to stand up in front of the American people and say things like, on day one, I'm going to tackle the affordability crisis that's affecting American families. Or she'll say, on day one, we're going to make the border more secure. And I think all of us, with an ounce of common sense, are saying, Kamala, day one was 1,400 days ago. What have you been doing that whole time?
Preach.
Now, Kamala Harris's surrogate, your illustrious governor, says that, quote, we have the greatest economy we've ever had.
Wow.
I don't even understand that argument. Here's the actual record.
Over half of the counties in the state of Wisconsin have fewer jobs than before the pandemic, and manufacturing has been hit the hardest. And I know that Wisconsin is a proud state of American craftsmanship, so when folks lose those proud, dignified manufacturing jobs, it means, I think it hurts especially in states like Wisconsin, just like it hurts especially in states like Ohio. The cost of living is up 20% in the state of Wisconsin. The amount of money you're spending now to afford a life that you could have afforded when Donald Trump was president costs about $12,000 more per year. And in total, inflation has robbed Wisconsin families of about $28,000. That's the record of Kamala Harris. That is the record of the last 4 years. Is that the greatest economy we've ever had? So I think you'd all join me in saying, let's get back to the common sense economic policies of Donald J. Trump. Let's get back to prosperity in the state of Wisconsin and all across the United States. Now, we could go through a lot of other problems with Kamala Harris' economy, but it's not just that Kamala Harris has a terrible record, it's that Kamala Harris doesn't even know how to talk about what she wants to do. And I will tell you that as much as I disagree with our illustrious vice president, I will say one thing on her behalf. That every time she gives an interview, I think she does me and Donald Trump a big favor. I think we gain about 50,000, maybe 100,000 votes. Because remember, as much as she tries to run away from Joe Biden,
Puerto Rico for Trump.
Tries to run away from all
right,
of the disastrous policies the last 4 years, occasionally Kamala Harris will make the mistake of telling the truth.
Support Israel,
and it usually will come up in the form of one of these softball interviews.
America first, absolutely.
Kamala Harris, she does not that many hard interviews. I think she's only done one, maybe, since the entire campaign started. And of course, you know, me and Donald Trump, we go everywhere, we talk to everybody, because the people who want to lead you ought to go out and earn your vote, not be expected to just be given your vote. I think that's common sense.
Thank you.
But, you know, Kamala Harris, during an interview with The View a couple of weeks ago, actually kind of gave away the ball game a little bit. And again, she does pretty much only softball interviews. But the problem with a softball interview is that you still got to be able to hit a softball. And I don't know that Kamala Harris can hit a T-ball based on some of the
Christ is
that we've seen over the
King.
last
Jesus is Lord.
Because
Praise
remember,
the Lord.
She's trying to say that she's had nothing to do with the policies of the last 4 years. So they give her the ultimate slow pitch right over the middle. They say, what would you have done differently? Name one thing that you would have done differently than Joe Biden, and she says, nothing comes to mind. Now, to be fair, I do think that could be the slogan of the Harris-Walz campaign, nothing comes to mind, but But there's a serious truth behind it, which is that if you can't name anything.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this rally. JD is a great.
Well, you already
pick for
naming him
president.
vice president.
Yeah.
He told Kamala it's going to be his plane.
He's a great vice president. But yeah, pretty excited for this rally. It's coming down to the wire for this election.
First time voter.
First time gonna be voting. But back to the rally.
Or they at least have the excuse of a war. Kamala Harris doesn't even have that excuse. She's spending like it's World War III, and frankly, with her policy, she may walk us into World War III. But thank God we're not there yet, and yet she's spending like we are. Credit card delinquencies are at 9% in the United States of America. That means that about 1 in 11 of our fellow citizens are so strapped for cash that they can't even pay their bills. Auto mortgages are delinquent by about 8%. That means about 1 in 12 of our fellow citizens can't make their car payment. My friends, we could do so much better. We got to get back to the president who delivered the fastest rising take-home pay in a generation.
Don't forget
the
to
president who
like,
secured
share,
the
and
border,
subscribe.
the
Thank you,
president
everyone,
who
for
had
joining.
inflation at 1.5%, and that's Donald J. Trump, and we're going to get him elected.
Yes,
in
we
8
are.
short days.
8 short days. Where are you guys from? Put it in the chat so we can see where you're joining us from.
Now, of all the
Canada
issues that
for Trump.
we could talk about, you know, I think we believe in the
Make
common sense
America
principle
holy
that our
again.
schools ought to
Yes.
educate our children and not
Romania.
indoctrinate our children, right?
Okay. For Trump. Romania for Trump. Okay. Maryland, California, Virginia,
We
West
believe in
Virginia,
the common sense
Missouri,
principle that
Florida,
America's troops ought to be
Ohio.
used for our national
Trump. Let's go,
security, that
baby.
we shouldn't be the policemen of the world. I think
New
most
York
of us
in the
probably agree with
house.
that.
All right. Anybody from Philly? See, Nebraska, San Francisco,
But
Oklahoma,
there is one
Ukraine.
issue I think above all
Okay, I know
others,
y'all
that
want
Kamala
Harris because
Harris
she
has
gonna
represented
keep
such
shelling
a
out that
radical
money to you,
departure
right?
from the
No,
successful
America
policies of
first.
Donald J. Trump, and that is
Russia
at
for
the
Trump.
border.
Let my
And what
head
a
off.
disgrace! What's going on at the American southern border? You know, when
Okay,
I became
let
the
me not
vice
transfer
presidential nominee,
Trump.
one of the
Holiness
first
is
trips that I made to
holiness
Wisconsin,
is
I
of the
talked to a
Lord.
lot of local police officers and sheriffs, and they told me
Harris
that they
is a
had
joke.
recently
I
arrested
mean,
a
she's a
Mexican
joke,
drug
and everybody
cartel
knows
member
she's a
an
joke. New
hour
Jersey,
north
okay,
of Milwaukee,
Jersey.
Wisconsin. Almost hard to believe, and yet we have all over the beautiful state of Wisconsin, we have drug cartel members who are selling fentanyl into our communities, who are
Terrible.
committing violent crimes, who are sex trafficking minor children into
You
our
hear that,
communities, and they're
Harris
doing
supporter?
it
That's
because
that's
Kamala
that's
Harris rolled out the
Harris.
red carpet for
That's
the
Harris.
worst people in the world.
It has to be
And I think
illegals
that
want to vote for Harris
I think that
because
we could
she
do
does not put
so
American
much better
citizens
with just
first.
a
So
very, very simple principle. That if
we
you
got
came to
drugs,
this country
missing
illegally over the
children,
last 4 years, our
terrorists.
message is very
That's
simple.
Harris.
Pack your bags, because in 3 months you're going back home.
That's
And
right.
if you do that,
You are Juan. You trying to find out what's going to happen in your future. You know my
but
channel is
since
called Speak the
2020,
Truth.
the
Look, you gonna get nothing but the
has
real
doubled
deal here. We don't
in this
sugarcoat
country.
anything.
It's now the leading cause of death of our young people is drug overdoses, and most
You can
of the
see who
drug
not Christian,
overdoses
so you can
are
see
caused by
the other
fentanyl
party
brought into this country
follows
by Mexican drug
demons.
cartels. Now, we
They
talk
follow.
about
That's a
that
demon
problem
possessed
all the
party.
time, and rightfully
That's what it
so.
is.
My family was very personally
Look at the
affected by this. It's
language.
one of the
They
reasons
have
why
no
I care so much about it.
conversation.
Now, I was raised by my grandmother, and the reason I was raised by my grandmother is because my mom struggled with addiction. And I'm proud to say that mom has now been almost 10 years clean and sober, and that's an incredible
Yeah,
grace.
only American
God bless you.
citizens
Thank
in
you.
this feed.
But I can't help ask myself, what if 15 years ago, when mom had an overdose and I was a young kid praying by her bedside, hoping that she would wake up, what if she had taken what Kamala Harris has let come to this country over the last few years? I don't think that I would have gotten that second chance with my mother. And when you
Wow.
look at the number of people who are dying from this poison, we know that there are hundreds of thousands of American citizens who haven't gotten that second chance over the past 3 years. There are hundreds of
No
thousands
Christian is a
of
Harris
American
supporter
families,
because
millions of
she
people
doesn't
who
stand
didn't
for
get that
God.
second
She
chance
mocked
with their
God.
mom, with
There's
their
nothing
dad,
about that
with their
party
loved ones,
that
with their
Jesus
kids,
would
because
say is
we
great.
allowed the worst criminal entity in the world to bring in and profit off
Not
of
a
terrible
Christian.
poison in our communities.
God should not be
We are
mocked.
doing something to this country.
Don't forget to
that
like,
is
share, and
totally
subscribe.
unforced and that
Thank
is
you.
totally unnecessary.
Yes, he's coming
and it is going
soon.
to stop when Donald J. Trump is back in the White House.
You don't know how she mocked God? You could go on YouTube and find out. I'll explain as soon as JD
But
stops
that's the
talking.
problem, fentanyl, that we talk about a lot, and again, we talk about it a lot, rightfully so, but we don't talk about some of the other problems that come from that wide open southern border. We don't talk about the fact that
Jesus
we
is
often
Lord.
are welcoming people into this country
Women
who
out
don't
over her
speak the
Christianity.
native
Yes, she
language.
did.
And so what happens?
She said, go
when
to that
those
other rally
children
down the street.
end
That's where
up
we
in
at
the
now.
schools
That
of
other little
American
rally
children,
where you
we
can
know
talk
that
about
it
Jesus
distracts
is
from
Lord and
quality
Christ is
education
King.
for American
Because
citizens.
she said, people
I'd
said
ask you to
Jesus
look,
is
and you
Lord was
probably
at the
don't have to
wrong
look.
rally.
You probably,
She's
a lot of
right.
you have
I'm at the
experienced
right
it
rally
personally.
now. A former
Emergency room and
Democrat. That's
hospital
what
wait
I am
times
now.
are skyrocketing in this country. Why are they skyrocketing? Because we've allowed millions upon millions of people who have no right to be here to step in front of the line of American citizens. And
Bless
I
your
believe,
hearts,
by the way,
Lord.
that we should be a compassionate
Let's
nation.
do.
I
We
don't
gotta
blame
do it
anybody
now.
for wanting
We
to
gotta
come to
turn
the
it.
United States of America. But first of all, you got to come the right way.
Come
You
the
gotta
right
come
way.
through the proper channels.
We want to thank everyone for joining. And yeah, Jesus is Lord. Just like Kamala said,
And
when
second of
two
all, and this is
Christians
very,
were
very
at her
important, you know
rally,
what?
she stated that when they said Christ is King and Jesus is Lord, she said that they were at the wrong rally, that they need to go down the street at that smaller rally, referring to Trump, because that's where Christians are welcome at. She was talking about abortion. Do you believe that God is for abortion? Her whole campaign is killing American babies, but you want the immigrants to come in and have babies. How can you make that make sense? She's not a Christian. There's nothing about her Christian. She has a demonic spirit and had the audacity to get behind a pulpit in a church, and then they had some Christians in the church put out. So, and she's not black.
A
Back,
lot of
go ahead.
these Democrats come in here just to hate and attack, but they don't say why they're voting for
Yeah.
her or anything that's agreeing to disagree. They just come here and call us names and say insults and stuff that's just dumb instead of actually saying why you support her. But you could tell they're not Christians. They need a Bible. They need to go to church. But you can
Yeah,
just
they're
tell they're not
possessed.
Christians.
Yeah, because God said you know them by their walk, it's by
Yeah.
your action, so they're not presenting everything they're about. You think that God is about mutilating young boys' bodies, men cutting off their penises, men and women sports. You think God is for thinking that man can be God? When you're born either a boy or a girl. Let me educate you. You're born with a penis and testicles, or you're born with a vagina. There's no in between. So just be clear. So God is not for them trying to play God. They're playing Frankenstein. Okay, back to JD.
Kamala Harris's leadership have risen over 40%. And of course, in a lot of communities in Wisconsin, they've risen a lot more than 40%. That is a disgrace. To do that to our young people, to tell them they're not going to be able to own a home in the country that their parents and grandparents built, we have got to do so much better. And here's how we're going to do it. Because there are two things that we've got to do to make the American dream of homeownership affordable again. Number one, we got to lower interest rates and build more houses. It's very simple. If you go
Trump.
If you go and buy
Get
a
your own
house right
Trump
now, mortgage
shirt on our
interest
channel
rates
in the
are as
bio.
high as they've been in probably
only
34
$15.
years in the United States of America. And not to mention that, but we're not building enough homes. Think about this. Our ancestors went to the moon with pocket calculators and slide rules.
Veterans,
and thanks to Kamala
vote for
Harris's
Trump.
overreaching government, we don't make enough homes for our own citizens. We used to make rockets that went to the moon. Now we don't build enough homes. That's a terrible, terrible reflection of our current leadership. But the honest and hard truth, and this is what the media doesn't talk about enough, is that no matter how many homes that we build, if we don't ensure those homes go to American citizens,
That's
housing prices are always going to be unaffordable for the American people. And when you bring in
Tell 'em.
25
Tell
million
'em.
people who have no legal right to be here, and you put them in homes that ought by right go to American citizens, you are stealing the American dream of homeownership from our people.
From all the young people graduating from college and want to buy a house, they can't.
So while Donald Trump and I will fight to lower mortgage interest rates, we are also going to fight to build more homes. We are most importantly going to fight to ensure that American homes go to American citizens and our young people will be able to afford the American dream again. So let's talk just a little bit about Kamala Harris's campaign, because I don't think it's going so well, my friends. But here's the thing is, she doesn't have a plan to run on. She doesn't have a record to run on. And when they ask her what she's going to do to solve the many problems that the American people are facing because of her broken leadership, Kamala Harris, they'll say, what are you going to do to tackle the inflation crisis confronting our citizens? By the way, when you ask President Trump that question, you ask me that question, the most
Trump,
important
Trump.
thing specifically that we can do to lower prices for our citizens is drill, baby, drill. Unleash American energy, and that is the most important thing. Now,
What's your proof to that, Tangle?
because think about this, if a truck driver who delivers the groceries to the
I need
grocery
proof
store is
to
paying
your statement.
45% more for diesel, then all of us are going to be paying more for groceries. Or if the guy who delivers the lumber and the building materials to a job site is paying 40% more for gasoline, then all of us are going to be paying more for the homes that get built at that job site. So the most important thing we can do is just unleash America's energy workers, and Kamala Harris is proposing to do the exact opposite, which is probably why when they ask her what her specific plan, what does she want to do, no slogans,
She doesn't have a
to
plan.
solve the inflation crisis for the state of Wisconsin and the American people, she'll say, well, I grew up in a middle-class family.
Yep, same ass.
And I'm sitting there watching going, wait a second, you didn't answer the question. What are you going to do for those middle-class families so they can afford groceries and housing again? And if you don't have a specific answer to this question, you belong nowhere near the Oval Office of this country.
That's right.
So because they don't have a record and because they don't have a plan, what the Democrats have decided to do in this last week of the campaign is to double down on the most divisive rhetoric I think that we have ever seen from a major party presidential candidate in my lifetime. Because as much as Donald Trump and I have criticized Kamala Harris, and we'll criticize their plans, we'll criticize their disgraceful open border, Donald Trump and I want to be president of the whole United States of America. Even if you voted the wrong way, or will vote the wrong way in 8 days, we're still going to fight for you, and we're still going to fight for your interests. But here's the thing. That's not what Kamala Harris is saying. Kamala Harris has decided that she's not just going to attack me and President Trump, that she's going to attack the people who are voting for me and for President Trump, and I think that is a disgrace.
Kamala's economic plan is better than the billionaire who made gas prices lower, groceries more affordable, who's already done that, and he's a billionaire, but okay.
We got on the campaign plane
Whatever
today.
you say,
we
bro.
had a good time, and we had a good time after the rally, but because my kids wake up really early, we all left for the airplane around 6:30 this morning, and I got on my plane, and I looked at my staff, and I said, man, you all look like hell. Long night last night, so say a prayer for the Vance campaign staff. But we thank you. But we get on the plane, and I realized that Kamala Harris called the great patriots from every walk of life, from every faith, from every
Exactly,
creed,
Bone.
from every
It's
background,
really odd.
white, black, and everything in the middle. 100,000 patriots, at least, between those that were inside of Madison Square Gardens and those that were outside. And she and her running mate are calling it a fascist rally. They're comparing it to a Nazi rally from 100 years ago. Go look it up. That's what they're doing.
Jealous.
It's absurd for a whole
They are
bunch of
jealous.
But you know one of the reasons it's most absurd is because the proud patriots, I imagine that nearly every person in this room has a relative who served in the Second World War. Our families actually went and defeated the Nazis. To call us Nazis is a disgrace. But I think it's extra ridiculous when you compare what Kamala Harris is actually running on versus what President Trump is actually running on. So
Yeah, cry more.
I actually looked at this photo this morning, and we got some screens up here. So this is just something I Googled. I Googled troops landing at Normandy or something like that, and this is what comes up. Now, when these guys were fighting the actual Nazis back in 1944, I wonder what they would think about the Kamala Harris campaign and her policy proposals such as they are. Do you think that those men who saved the continent, and I would say saved the world for freedom and liberty, do you think that they were fighting to open the southern border of their own country? Because I don't. Do you think that those men were fighting for taxpayer-funded sex reassignment surgeries for illegal aliens?
No.
I'd like Kamala Harris to go back in time and hop on that boat and say that she wants taxpayer-funded sex reassignment surgeries for illegal aliens. And I'd like to hear the response of those brave men. Because I'll tell you, you got to be very precise with political language, okay? And so I decided to look up what is the exact phrase that I would use for a person who thinks those brave men were fighting for what Kamala Harris is fighting for today. And I looked in the dictionary, I thought very hard about it, and I came up with the perfect term. If you think those brave men were fighting for an open border and sex change surgeries for illegal aliens, the proper term for you is dipshit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
Again, you got to be precise with your language in politics. The media is very tough. You got to choose the right words. And I apologize if there are any kids out there, but my mamaw cussed a lot. I turned out okay. So one final thought, and then we'll take a few questions from the local reporters.
All right.
We've had a lot of fun here, and most importantly, we're having fun in the service of something, which is saving this country and making sure our fellow citizens can afford the American dream again. That's really all this is about. We're trying to make it so that if you work hard and play by the rules, you can afford a decent life. And that's economic principles, that's securing that southern border so we have safe neighborhoods, that's making sure that we have a more peaceful world. All these things are necessary to live in a good life, but we're not going to do it unless we change the leadership of Washington, D.C. So I want to make 3 requests to you before we kick this over to the media. Number 1, I want you to post about this event on social media or text it to your friends, whatever method of communication you use. Talk about what you heard here and talk most importantly about why you're voting for Donald J. Trump for President of the United States. That's number 1. Number 2, there's a website called swampthevoteusa.com. That's swampthevoteusa.com. Go on that website and you can check out how to get involved. You can check out your registration, you can check out your polling location, you can just make sure that you're prepared to vote on or before November the 5th. And I'd encourage you to take advantage of every method of voting that you have, whether it's early, whether it's on election day, whether it's by mail. We gotta use every method possible to get out there and vote. And here's the third request that I'm gonna make of you. And that's that I want each person in this beautiful hall, I want you to get out there and vote 10 times. Ron just shot me a look. He said, we're Republicans. We only vote once. Here's the way you're going to vote the legal way 10 times is you're going to take yourself to the polls and take 9 of your friends and family with you. And I want every person to make sure that happens by Election Day. When we do that, my friends, we're going to make sure that we win Wisconsin and give the American people a president fit to lead this country, and that's Donald J. Trump. God bless you all.
God bless
Great
you.
to be here.
God bless America. Trump, Trump, Trump. Boy, 8 more days.
All righty. Let's
How many people have voted so far? Have you voted? Are you voting early, or are you going to vote in this election at all?
JD saw them.
I know. He's doing some questions. We want him. You voted? God bless you. Everybody should exercise their right in regards to who you're voting for. But don't wait till the last minute, because you know how things happen and things come up. For all we know, they might be plotting behind our backs to have something crazy going on that somehow we can't have our election or whatever. So I think we really do need to get our votes in early. I'm going to go and vote early tomorrow. I'm just going to go right there and do early voting. I'm not even going to mail it in. I'm going to vote early. There you go, Gina. Gina's here. Hey, Gina. Yeah, so anyway, Vance, he's taking some questions. Let's see what he's taking.
Is dumb or not funny, I don't laugh. I don't create a fake outrage cycle to distract from the fact that our fellow Americans can't afford to buy housing. That is outrageous, and that's something to be
Yes.
offended by. I'm a hell of a lot more offended that my fellow Americans can't afford to buy groceries or pay their credit card debt. That's more offensive than what a comedian said at Madison Square Gardens. And I'm most offended that Kamala Harris opened the American southern border and allowed tens of thousands of our fellow citizens to die of overdoses. That's not a joke. That's real life, and that's what we ought to focus on.
Yes. Amen.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you, Senator Ricardo Torres, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Last Friday, Senator Ron Johnson said the massive deportation of 10 million people under President Trump would not be realistic, and it's not going to happen. Do you agree with him?
Well, I actually talked with Ron on the plane about it, and first of all, Ron is a hell of a lot more articulate than I am. If you want to know what Ron thinks, then ask Ron. But what I think and what President Trump believes is that, number one, we've got to stop the bleeding. That's the most important thing, is we've got to stop we've got to stop the large inflow of illegal immigration in the first place. And you do that by building a wall, re-implementing deportations, and stopping the ridiculous catch and release policy of Kamala Harris. So you got to stop the bleeding first. And then you got to ask yourself, what do you do, of course, with the millions of illegal aliens that are already here? And look, I think that you start, of course, with the violent criminal migrants. You've got 425,000 people in this country who are violent criminal migrants. That's more than double the size of the United States Marine Corps. You start with them and get them out of our country on day one, or as close to it as possible. And then I think from there, look, you can't go into this saying that every person who came here illegally gets to stay in the United States of America. If you do that, then you don't have a real border. So yes, we are going to deport people who came into the United States illegally. We have to, or the American people are going to suffer. And I'm focused on the American people, not on people who came to this country illegally. And just practically, there are a couple of things that you can do. First of all, we ought to make it harder for illegal aliens to work in the United States of America. We want people who are working, but legal. We want legal residents and citizens to be working in this country, not illegal labor. And I think that if you do that, combined with some real law enforcement, and by the way, every time I go to a local community, the local officers are telling me we would love to help the federal government with immigration enforcement because they're being overwhelmed. So if we empower our law enforcement to do their jobs and make it harder for illegal aliens to work in this country, I think that we'll go a long way to solving the immigration problem in this country. Next question.
Good evening, Senator Vance. My name is Adam Reif with CBS 58 in Milwaukee. This state was decided by about 20,000 votes 4 years ago, and about 23,000 4 years before that. Given razor-thin margins expected in a lot of swing states, are you concerned that the comments last night that your campaigns had to distance itself from today, are you concerned that that could tip minority voters in these key swing states? And what is your campaign doing to reach out to those minority communities in these final 8 days?
Yeah, so look, I'm not worried that a joke that a comedian who has no affiliation with Donald Trump's campaign told, that a lot of people are going to wake up and say, oh, we're not going to vote for Donald Trump now. We're going to look past the fact that we can't afford groceries
That
because
comedian
somebody
was
made a joke that we
terrible.
don't like. I just don't buy that. I don't think that's how most
But
Americans think. Whatever
he's
they call
not
others
Trump.
can. But, you know, I think the answer, how are we trying to reach out to people of color in Wisconsin and everywhere else? I think, look, every individual is different. Every individual community is different. I think what I found is that a lot of Latino folks that we're reaching out to, they're really worried about the cost of goods. They're really worried about not being able to afford groceries. And a lot of them are devout Christians who are really worried that Kamala Harris has made it harder for them to practice their faith and raise their children as they see fit. So we're talking a lot about religious liberty to our Hispanic community. You know, I think a lot of black voters that we're talking to and we're doing very well with, they really like the fact that we're focused on economic issues and how to empower the American people to be able to afford the American dream again. I also talk to a lot of black voters who are sick of being told what to think and what to say by other people. They want to think for themselves. They're sick of the censorship in this country. And interestingly, when there are especially a lot of young black voters that I talk to, you know what, a lot of them are pretty pissed off that they were threatened with the loss of their job because they didn't want to take the COVID shot 3 years ago. They're pissed off about that, and that, of course, happened because of Kamala Harris. And then, of course, because we have such an incredible country, a lot of the concerns that I'm hearing among young black voters, I'm also
Imagine
hearing
being
among
an
older white
adult
voters.
and being with
People are
Satan.
worried about the state of this country, and they recognize that if we elect Donald J. Trump, we're going to unleash a golden age of prosperity in the United States of America. But if we double down on failed leadership, it's going to get a lot worse. We'll do one more question. I'll hit the road.
Hi, Senator Vance. Katrina Kaufman from CBS News. So your campaign has received a number of endorsements from the Muslim community, including on Saturday in Michigan. But last night, Rudy Giuliani made some disparaging comments about Palestinians, saying that Hamas is training 2-year-olds to kill Americans. What is your response to those?
Well, first, I mean, the implication is that Muslim Americans are defending the tactics of Hamas. That's sort of the implication of your question. I don't buy that for a second. I think there are a lot of Muslim Americans who may disagree with, you know, certain policies of the Trump administration. They may disagree with certain policies of Israel, for example. But most Muslim Americans, like most Americans, I believe are good people who want to live in a safe and secure and prosperous country. And they can disagree. Look, we can disagree on issues, but I just don't buy the idea that Muslim Americans are sitting out there thinking, well, we're super pro-Hamas. I think that
Agenda
the reason
47.
they're coming behind Donald J. Trump, and it's interesting, because I think for the first time in this country's long history, of course, the Middle East has been a basket case for 50 years. I think you can make a really good argument that whether you're a Jewish American who's very pro-Israel, and to be clear, I'm a pro-Israel guy, or whether you're a Muslim American who doesn't always agree with Israel, Donald Trump is actually the best candidate for both of those two camps. And why is that? Because Donald Trump is the candidate of peace through strength, and Kamala Harris is the candidate of war and chaos. Just think about this, right? So think about this. Let's just say that Kamala Harris is in a meeting with Netanyahu or whoever the leader of Israel is. She's in a meeting with Netanyahu, and she's in the meeting with, you know, a representative group of the Palestinians, and they say, Kamala Harris, how are you going to help us restore peace to our country? And she says, well, I grew up in a middle-class family.
Thanks.
That's not going to work. You need somebody with an ounce of competence. You need somebody who actually has their own developed thoughts about how to solve the country's problems and how to engage diplomatically with the rest of the world.
Don't
And whether
forget to
you agree
share,
with
like,
him
and
all the
subscribe.
time or
Get
not,
the likes
Donald
up.
J. Trump actually has ideas in his head about how this country ought to be governed. That makes him head and shoulders above the competition. Just that one thing. So let me leave you with this final thought here, and it's very simple. If you think about what this election is about, you don't have to agree with me on every issue. You don't have to agree with Donald J. Trump on every issue. But think about the big tent coalition that we've assembled. On the right, we've got people
Amanda.
like Brian Kemp, Nikki Haley. On the left, we've got people like Tulsi Gabbard and Bobby Kennedy. This is the common sense coalition that's ready to take this country in a more positive direction. But it's very simple. Kamala Harris broke it, and Donald Trump will fix it. Think about this. Kamala Harris opened the border. Kamala Harris broke the border, and Donald Trump will fix it by closing it down. Kamala Harris inherited an economy with 1.5% inflation and rapidly rising take-home pay. Kamala Harris broke that, but put Donald Trump back in there and he'll fix it. Speaking of the Middle East, we had peace in Europe. We had a much more peaceful situation in the Middle East. We had peace in East Asia. Kamala Harris broke the world security situation, and Donald J. Trump will fix it. It's very simple. I have learned more about the greatness of the United States of America in the past 3 months than I think I could have ever hoped to learn in a lifetime. And I've learned that by going out to places like this, talking to our fellow citizens, realizing that we have a generosity of spirit in the United States of America that I think is unmatched anywhere in the world. We have the best natural resources, the most beautiful country anywhere in the world. The only thing that is broken about the United States of America is Kamala Harris's failed leadership. Let's fix that on November the 5th. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And let's get our guy on the finish line. Thank you.
Okay, it's Trump rally. It should start. This was in his rally ought to be starting. JD said a lot because Black people are supporting Trump more than ever in this election because we are being affected by what's going on inside this country, just like everyone else. So we are out here supporting Trump. We're for Trump. We already have experienced this administration, and it doesn't work for us. This is not what we want to run our government. We don't want them running our government. We've already had enough of this mess, and I can't imagine 4 more years of incompetence. Like most people, we have nothing against a woman president, not by far, but you know, the people that are in office now, President Biden, he's suffering from dementia. We need people that can actually lead because we need world leaders. And the people that are in office now are not world leaders. They can't even lead their house. So we are in great need before Russia gets smart to get them in office. All right.
Never happened before.
So there go Trump. That was JD rally. Now Trump is here.
Trump.
Firefighters union, rank and file of the firefighters. I don't think it's ever happened.
I don't know where he gets his
And
energy
many
from.
people within unions.
Don't
and
know.
A lot of people outside of the unions. A lot of people, and because I'm going to bring businesses back to this country at levels
Union.
that nobody has ever seen before. We're not going to let them sell to our
Union
people.
strong.
And I was doing it already the last time, and then we had to take care of a thing called the China virus. We did a great job. Never got the proper credit for it, but that's okay. They gave me credit for the great economy. They gave me credit for wiping out ISIS, which everyone said would take years, and it took us a matter of weeks. Because our military is
Yep, Jesus every day, forever.
They gave me a lot of credit, but they didn't give me credit for that. Nobody knew what the hell it was either. COVID, they call it COVID. I call it the China virus. But we're close to World War II because we have people in the White House that World War III. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I had World War II. I had World War II. I had World War II veterans. I didn't realize the word veteran afterwards. Thank you very much. But would those World War II veterans stand up? Because we have a couple here that are unbelievable. World War II. Thank you. The guy looks better than I look. He looks better than Trump. Thank you. Thank you. Great veterans. And we're closer to World War III than we've ever been. We've never been so close. And we're gonna be closer yet because we have people that don't know what they're doing unless we win. But even then you have a period of time before January 20th. And we're gonna win this thing. We gotta win this thing. And if we don't win it, we're not gonna have a country. It's not gonna be good. But I hear, everything from what I hear is it's not only gonna be a victory, it's gonna be a big, fat, beautiful victory. And that's what we need. But Kamala is labeling more than half of the country as the enemy combatants, and she's calling them all fascists and Nazis, okay? But she's a fascist, okay? She's a fascist. How can Kamala Harris, and I don't use the name too much because nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about when I say Harris. If I said, how come Harris? And people look around, who is Harris? Kelly, they say, who is Harris? How can Kamala Harris lead America when she probably hates Americans because that's her ideology? She destroyed San Francisco. She's a very incompetent person running for president who stole the nomination from crooked Joe Biden and who's losing in the polls. So she's losing in the polls. The fake news doesn't want to tell you that. The fake news doesn't want to tell you that. That's why we have to make it too big to rig, please.
Too big, too rigged.
And she and her group of very bad people are truly a threat to democracy. They're a threat. In less than 4 years, Kamala Harris has shattered our middle class. She cast the deciding votes that launched the worst inflation in your lifetime. Some say the worst inflation in the history of our country, by the way. She cost a typical American family over $30,000 in just higher prices alone. She killed 50,000 manufacturing jobs this year alone, 50,000. And you know what she does? She lies. She does ads. Donald Trump wants to close down Social Security. I want to close down Social Security. Just the opposite. I'm the one that's going to make Social Security strong again. We're going to make it strong again. She's going to close it down. And you know why she's going to close it down? Because all of the millions of people she's allowing into the country want to go into Social Security, Medicare, all this stuff. It's going to be worthless. She's going to close it down, but she does ads the exact opposite. Take anything. Oh, Donald Trump will raise taxes. No. I'm the one that's lowering taxes. She's the one that's raising taxes. They lie. I find her worse than Hillary. I find her worse. I see these ads and it's so, and I go to my people, you have to do a countering ad because she said that I was gonna get rid of Social Security. Can you imagine? All I do is talk about, I will not touch Social, and I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch Social Security. You deserve that Social Security. We have liquid gold under our feet. We don't have to play games with great people. But I'm not going to destroy it by putting tens of millions of people into it, and then it is going to be destroyed. They're going to destroy the country, maybe even more importantly. nearly 7 million men in their prime working age are missing from the labor force. Do you know that? They're not here anymore. They're not in the labor force anymore. Nobody knows that. The fake news never reports that. Now Kamala wants to raise the typical family's taxes by nearly $3,000 a year and impose a 33% tax hike on all domestic production. You know what that means? That means they're going to leave and they're going to go to Asia, they're going to go to Europe. If Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, your family will frankly never recover. You're never going to recover. You know how long it actually took? 1929, it took many, many years. You know, they thought they recovered in the 1940s, and it took all the way to the 50s to recover. It took years and years to recover. And that's what you're going to have. You're going to have a 1929 style depression. If I win, we will, and we're going to do this very fast. We're going to quickly build the greatest economy that the world has ever seen. We had that 4 years ago. We actually had that. We will rapidly defeat inflation, and very simply, I will make America affordable again. You know, the biggest thing I hear is groceries. You know, like when I was telling you before about the men and women sports, I never hear that, but I hear about groceries. It's sort of basic too. I hear about groceries. They're so expensive. A woman goes to this is an anecdote, but that happened. A woman goes to the store with 3 apples, an old woman, and then she sees the price of the apples and she brings one back. That shouldn't be America. That should not be America. That's what's happening too. I will massively cut taxes for workers and all small businesses, and we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for us. And I've just announced last night at Madison Square Garden. Did anybody watch last night? But just announced that I will support a tax credit, full tax credit, for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one. They deserve it. And they add so much to our country, and nobody speaks about them, but they do. It's a big factor, and a lot of people ask me about.
We have a secret way to help you make life more affordable. You don't have to do anything other than what you're doing right now, which is living in the Garden State. Thanks to a new initiative launched by Governor Murphy and the
A rocket the way he landed that sucker. You gotta be, it's like a 20-story building, right? That thing is coming in. I'm talking to somebody. I said, hold it. It's a very important person. I said, hold it. Boom. That was the last I spoke to him. Coming down, they said, oh, it's going to crash. It's going to crash into the gantry. I said, oh. And then those engines kicked in, and the fire and the flame starts pouring out of the left side and starts pushing it over. And it comes down, and those big, beautiful arms hugged it like you hug your child. See? See, that could have been a very embarrassing moment, right, Bert? He said, oh, that's so nice. He said, thank God. He said, child, like you hug your child. That was good. But it's true. How beautiful was that, right? So he doesn't need to be a secretary. He doesn't want to be secretary. He wants to be a man that can cut costs, have you live even better. You're not going to be affected. But I think he said $2 trillion. And nobody would do it better than him, and he's going to do it very responsibly, and we have to, it's amazing that, he just wants the country. That's why he endorsed me very strongly. Elon Musk, the guy is incredible. And he endorsed me you know where he is right now? He's campaigning in Pennsylvania. He's been doing it since he landed that crazy rocket ship. Right? No, he's been campaigning in Pennsylvania since he landed the rocket ship, Think of it. You think he'd have a lot of other things, but he thinks it's the most important thing he can do. Because he knows that if we keep going in the way we're going with these people that are terrible people, that our country is finished. It's literally finished, and he knows that. And I think he's incredible. I think he's a real patriot, actually, if you want to know the truth. But I'll also make interest on car loans. This is great for Detroit, Michigan, also good for South Carolina, and a lot of places that do cars. You do a lot of car parts and things. You do a lot here. But we'll make interest on car loans fully tax deductible, but only, here's a hitch. but only if the cars are made in America. If they're not made in America. That's pretty good, Marjorie, right? Good one, right? I got called from a lot of big people in Wall Street. I call them the 182 guy. You know what 182 is? 182 IQ. That's about as high as they get. And they call me up and they say, where did you come up with that idea? First of all, deductibility. Actually, when I went out with it was 2 weeks ago in Detroit. But then I said, wait a minute, it doesn't help us if we're buying a car from Japan. Why would we do the deductibility? But we'll do it if you build a car in Detroit or any place in the United States, we'll do it. So we get deductibility. You know how many cars that's going to produce? I think it's going to produce a lot, and they're going to be built in the U.S., and that's what we want. I will cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and we will end Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate, which not everybody wants an electric car. Not everybody wants them, and they're great, you know. Elon does the best. I mean, he does unbelievable with the electric, but it's meant to be a market. There's some, I think they're amazing, but they don't go far enough. Little things like that, they don't go far enough. And they are more expensive, right? And there's a great market for them, but we want gasoline-powered cars or we want hybrids. We don't want hydrogen. We do not want hydrogen cars because they're extremely dangerous. You're not recognizable if something goes wrong. If something goes wrong, and Marjorie Taylor Greene with that beautiful blonde hair is driving down the highway in a hydrogen car, and the problem with a hydrogen car, if something goes wrong, it's like the atom bomb went off. You're not recognizable. But they say, we think we have it under control. That's not good enough. They'll say, we thought it was Marjorie Taylor Greene riding down the middle of the turnpike, but she's no longer recognizable. We found some of her. I won't say. We love her. Stand up. Marjorie, stand up. She's not, I will not let her get into a hydrogen car. She wouldn't do it anyway. We'll achieve energy independence, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to do that. We're going to get prices. And I will terminate the Green New Scam, and I will cut your energy prices in 1 year, 12 months, we're going to cut them in half. 50%, 50%. That's going to bring down everything. That'll bring down the cost of everything. We have it underground. We don't even use what we have. It's ridiculous. We get it from Venezuela. We get tar. I call it Venezuelan tar. To bring back millions of jobs, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market on the planet. And it won't be that way if we don't turn this thing around right away. We won't be that big, great market, but only for those who make their product here in the USA and hire American workers for the job. Otherwise, they don't get that benefit. And if these companies don't make their product here, then they will pay a tariff when they send their product into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers. And if you look, we don't want them competing with us. We're going to keep them not competing with us. We want our companies to do great. We want our jobs to be great. We want high wages, as high as you can go within reason. And we're going to protect those companies, and we're going to protect those workers. We're not going to have those companies stolen and everybody loses their job. Won't happen. Won't happen anymore. Because the word tariff to me is the most beautiful word in the entire dictionary, okay? But we have people that, I don't know, they're either stupid or they're crooked. They don't want to let you use that, but we use it. We use it. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Hundreds of billions. I would say they're not thrilled with me. Do you think they're thrilled that I'm leading in the polls? I don't know. You never know. Although I like China, and I like President Xi. He's a fierce individual, very fierce. But he's a good, I mean, he loves China. He wants to take care of China, but I want to take care of the United States of America, right? And we'll also pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, meaning if China or any other country is charging us 100 or 200% tariff or tax, then we will charge them 100 or 200% tariff or tax in return. In other words, it's an eye for an eye. And when that happens, everything will just go away. And I will never apologize for defending America. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our families. You know, my people ask me, please don't say that, sir. It sounds so horrible. What was it? I said, I'm going to protect the women in this country. They said, oh, please, sir, don't say that. Don't say that. I said, why? It's true. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming into our country that killed 7 people. You have them coming in, one supposedly killed 11 people. I'm going to protect them from having people come into our country and do damage to a woman or the family of a woman or anybody. And I think it's fine to say, I will protect the women of this country and the men of this country, and I'm going to protect everyone. Anyway, they said, please, sir, please don't say that. I think, okay, ready, women. Should I not say that? Ready? Maybe they're right. I don't think so. Should I say, I refuse to protect? I refuse to protect women. Okay. No, okay. I will protect the women of our country.
That's right. Protect us.
Yeah. Guess that settles that. I guess that settles that, right?
Thanks, Chef.
Well, we're going to protect everyone. And I will protect the birthright of our children to live in the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth. And as we rescue our economy, I will also restore our borders. Over the past 4 years, Kamala Harris has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted on our people. She is a disaster. She is a disaster. You just ask Border Patrol, they'll tell you she's a disaster. She doesn't know what the hell. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's violated her oath, eradicated our sovereign border, and unleashed an army of migrant gangs who are waging a campaign of violence and terror against our citizens. And we're not going to let it happen. Kamala has imported criminal migrants from prisons and jails, from insane asylums and mental institutions, from all around the world, from Venezuela.
People are saying lies. When have we in the United States have ever been through this? We had enough people to come in the last 3.5 years that would have came in like 30 years. I mean, someone to say lies, this is the honest to God truth. This is an invasion of the country. How could you possibly have that many people come inside of the United States of America in such a short span of time and think that it's going to work? These people came in unvetted. We have all sorts of people here, and it's not an improvement. You know, it's terrible what has happened to this country while this administration has been in office.
Your communities to prey on really innocent American citizens. They didn't buy into this. The American public is outraged.
I did not sign up for this when I voted for Biden and Harris.
Our women and our girls.
Last election.
I'm sorry to say that, but that's what's happening. Anyone who would let monsters kidnap and kill our children
does not
belong anywhere near the Oval Office. No, you have to protect
That's
our
right.
children.
They don't belong. She doesn't belong.
And nobody's seen this before. This is the first, and I wanted to do it because it's a special place for me. It's so many good memories, but it's a special place, a very important place, and it's a very important state. And winning this state, we win this state, we win the whole ball of wax.
Come on, Georgia. Let's go.
So this is the first time we've shown it on the screen. So today I want to show America, and I want them to hear directly from a mother whose world has been absolutely shattered forever by Kamala's open border program for idiots to import illegal aliens and gang members into our communities.
Anybody for this has to have a mental problem.
Someone
It's
said
difficult to
feeling
watch. I
better.
will tell you that. I saw it on the
It's the
plane coming in.
truth.
It's very difficult to watch,
Accept the
but
truth.
it's so true. It speaks 1,000 words.
It's so
Please
true.
take a look.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning first to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her. We're best friends.
Shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to
Jesus.
the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound.
Jesus.
She was strangled to death, left with no pants. And I know in my heart she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl. Police say these men
Trump. I will never vote for as a black woman for this Indian woman ever. Ever.
Are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
And as a Christian,
Kamala Harris was in
I
charge
can't see
of
anyone voting for that
immigration at
demon.
borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and
Trump,
not these cash
Trump,
release
Trump.
policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented.
This is making
Under
my
her
heart
being
bleed.
vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her. Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn. My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter. She failed
Sad.
Jocelyn, and she was only 12. President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I
Yes.
can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
This is so incredibly painful. There is no way. There's no freaking way that I would vote for Kamala Harris as a black woman. She's unfit. Tampon Tim is unfit. No mother or no one should have to go through that. That's incredibly sad, and I'm surprised that she's able to even talk about it. That would have just taken me out of here to see my child like that. And people walking around, everything that's being done to this country as American citizens, and we're supporting this regime full of demons. They are not American first. There's nothing they have done for Americans but cause us grief. They're the worst administration ever.
It's from your community. This is happening all over our country. And it's so sad. When I saw this, it's so sad.
It's very
I
sad.
just, that is a really good woman. So I got to know her a little bit the other day. And we got to stop this. We got to stop it. We got to be smart. We can't let this continue to happen.
No,
to
we
our country.
can't.
Thank you very much.
We cannot allow this nightmare to continue inside of this country. Period.
The day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. We have to restore our country. We've got hundreds of thousands of these people, hundreds of thousands. The savages charged with brutalizing and murdering Precious Jocelyn are members of the same vicious Venezuelan prison gang, Tren de Aragua, that is taking over apartment complexes in Colorado and other places and unleashing a violent killing spree all over America. They were also linked to a brutal murder here in Georgia of a brilliant young nursing student, and you know who that is. Just take a quick look at this. Just look at this.
Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies?
Do you regret terminating it, given that migration has increased in the wake of that, and are you considering reinstating it, working with Mexico to do that?
Failing to pass and fund this comprehensive plan has increased the challenges that we're seeing at our southwest border. No one knows this better than the Vice President.
You're welcome.
The entire world
Zeke,
is
you're
showing
welcome.
up here at our doorstep, and they're crossing illegally, and they're expecting to get released here into the United States.
A group of men walking up a stairwell at the Edge Lowry apartment complex in Aurora. All of them appear to be carrying rifles and handguns, and the video shot earlier this month. One of the men can be seen talking on a cell phone. They all then gather around a door and go in. Another video clip shows men forcing a door open.
This is a picture of gang members breaking into a vacant apartment.
The truth, Isabella. The truth.
This is our business plan, one gang member told a housekeeper. If he, the property manager, doesn't like it, we'll fill him with bullets.
Police in the region say a Venezuelan gang known as Tren de Aragua has victimized thousands through extortion, drug and human trafficking, kidnapping, and murder. Álvaro Boza, a former Venezuelan police officer now living in Florida, says he fled his country in large part because the gang had become so powerful they could kill law enforcement like him with impunity. Boza says a fellow police officer who refused to cooperate with the gang was shot 50 times. Now, U.S. law enforcement, including Customs and Border Protection
Yes,
and the
he
FBI,
is.
say
Trump is
the
a
gang
warrior
has made
and
their
a
way
hero.
into the country.
Members have been tied to hundreds of crimes, from assaulting NYPD officers and a murder in Miami to shooting two different NYPD cops who were trying to arrest one of its members in June.
We hear from the mother of Jocelyn Nungary, the 12-year-old allegedly assaulted and killed in June by two illegal migrants. New court documents revealed they were a part of a Venezuelan gang.
Tren de Aragua has given their members the green light to attack and kill police officers in Denver.
We went out to some of Chicago's most violent neighborhoods to meet with current and former gang members who tell us that TDA first showed up when the city opened up migrant shelters in these areas, and that now the Venezuelans are trying to move in.
The city nonprofits have lined up to help the migrants that have come here, but nobody is helping the American citizens, the residents that are trapped.
They told us that they really couldn't do anything unless something happened. It is not by any means an isolated occurrence, unfortunately. I call 911, no help comes from me. No help. We were on our own and we were left to die.
As far as local law enforcement, I believe at this point that this is far beyond any one local law enforcement agency taking this on, and we need our state and federal partners to step in at this point.
Thank you. And I think this is the single biggest problem. Inflation is terrible. The economy is terrible because of inflation. But I will tell you, to me, this is the biggest problem that we have. I think it's number one. They have it at number 3. I don't think it is number 3. I think it's number 1. We have to straighten it out. They're destroying the fabric of our country. The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. And on day 1, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. We're going to get these criminals out. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. These towns have been conquered, you know. They have been invaded, and can you imagine? Just as though a foreign enemy was invading, a military was invading, and probably just as vicious or more vicious. and we will put these bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them out of our country, get them the hell out of here fast. To expedite the removal of Trende Aragua gang and MS-13 and all the other gangs that are now loving being in America. They're in America. They're creating havoc. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I am hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. Under Kamala, America is a sanctuary for criminal illegal aliens, and I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the United States of America. I will end catch and release. I will end all migrant flights. They fly thousands and thousands of migrants into our beautiful farmlands and into our communities that have no idea what's happening right now, but they're starting to find out, and they are devastated. And I will ban all welfare and
She's your sunshine. You'd do absolutely anything for her. So what will her world be like?
President of the United States. She is unfit for office. Everyone knows it. No one respects her. No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously. Everyone knows she is a low IQ individual. From humiliating our country in Afghanistan, to the war in Ukraine, to the nightmare on our border, to her inflation catastrophe, to her egregious hurricane response, which your state also suffered. Worse since Katrina. They say maybe worse than Katrina. You can ask the people of North Carolina about that. Kamala Harris is a train wreck. I mean, this is a train wreck who has destroyed everything in her path. To make her president would be to gamble with the lives of millions of people. She would get us into World War III because she is too grossly incompetent to do the job, and then all of your sons and daughters will end up getting a draft notice, a thing called a draft. Dad, what's this? Oh, congratulations, you've been drafted into the military. You're going to fight a war against a country that nobody's ever heard of. Isn't it true? Isn't it ridiculous? Our enemies are laughing at her, but if we win, our enemies won't be laughing at.
Yeah, so it's going pretty good so far. Every rally, I love just the energy there, and it's a lot of just peaceful rally. Like me and my mom went to one. Here's the rally again.
Ridiculous. Our enemies are laughing at her, but if we win, our enemies won't be laughing anymore. They never laughed. They never laughed. If we win, America will be feared and respected again. On issue after issue, Kamala broke it, and I will fix it, and we'll fix it very fast. But we are not just running against Kamala. I'd like you to listen to
Running
this
against the
one, because I
machine.
believe it so strongly. She means nothing. She is purely a vessel. She can't put two sentences together. She's just like we were running against crooked Joe Biden. He was very similar, really. She never told us that. By the way, she put us in great danger because she never told us that. We're running against something far bigger and far more powerful than them, which is a massive, vicious, crooked, radical left machine that runs today's Democrat Party. We know a lot of the people, don't we? Huh? Don't we, Marjorie? Huh? Mike, we know a lot of those people, and that's what it is. It's a radical, vicious, sick machine that's become a very permanent fixture in the Democrat Party. It's running the Democrat Party. This is who we're fighting. These are the people who are doing such harm to our country with their open borders policies, their record-setting inflation, their Green New scam, and everything else they're doing. But we're not going to let it happen any longer. We're going to have the biggest victory in the history of our country on November 5th. We're going to make America great again. And on top of it all, Kamala says she would not do one thing differently from Joe Biden, which in itself is disqualifying. Please take a look.
You have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years. There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently? There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on special immigrant visa.
Finding new details of the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022. Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Monroy.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently? There is not a thing that comes to mind.
18% who say the economy is in excellent or good condition. US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
Authorities say Train Day Aragua, which has been linked with more than 100 criminal investigations here in the U.S., has now been found operating its criminal enterprise in apartment complexes.
Are you the last person in the room?
Yes.
So, if you want to end this disaster, you must get out and you have to vote. We're pleased to be joined today by Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. Thank you, Burt. Great job. Members of Congress, great people, warriors, really. Elise Stefanik. Elise, thank you, honey. Thank you. Great job. Rich McCormick. Thank you, Rich. Thank you. Mike Collins. Thank you. Great job, Mike. Andrew Clyde. Thank you, Andrew. These are great people. Jason Smith. Great guy. Great guy. And a very quiet person, Marjorie Taylor Greene, respected by everybody. And the next congressman, thanks Marjorie, and the next congressman from Georgia's 3rd Congressional District, Brian Jack, he's great. Also a woman, a friend of mine, a great person, former Senator Kelly Loeffler. Thank you, Kelly, she's doing a great job. And Doug Collins, one of my really good friends. Thank you, Doug. A courageous man, State Senator Brandon Beach. Thank you, Brandon. Georgia GOP Chairman, oh, I'm going to like him, I think, in 7 days so much. I like him now, but boy, am I going to like him. Josh McCoon. Thank you, Josh. Montgomery, where's Michaela? She is something. She is a good person. I also want to send our prayers to everyone here in Georgia and other states still recovering from the recent hurricanes. It's unbelievable. I want to thank you, Governor, too. He's done a very good job. Very good job. We appreciate it very much. It's good. And if I win, you will get the support that you so desperately need, support that you're waiting for. Here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas herself. She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of the defund the police movement. And anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week is not worthy of being president of the United States. Kamala vowed to abolish ICE. She wants to ban fracking. And as California Attorney General, she redefined sex, think of this, sex, child trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as totally nonviolent crimes. She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. Nobody's giving up their gun, I don't care. And she even called for free sex changes for illegal alien in detention. If you're an illegal alien in detention. And importantly, at taxpayer expense, by the way. And she lied about working at McDonald's. She never worked at McDonald's. On top of all this, in conclusion, take a look. She wants to turn our military woke. I don't think that's happening. Go ahead.
You little scumbag! I got your name! I got your ass! Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a summer of pride. So you're a villain, sir? Yes, sir! Let's see your war face. Sir!
Boy, they're not even showing the video.
That's a war face! Now let me see your war face! To the perpetuators, work towards a spirit of not just tolerance, but a spirit of acceptance. We have inclusion across all groups in the military. You are nothing but unorganized, red-dusting pieces of amphibian shit. What Pride means to me is celebrating that diversity is our strength as a nation and as an army. Like the best part, you ran down, cracked him up his ass, did it up with the round, stand on the rat for it. We must set our sights higher and focus on intentional inclusivity, because there are still far too many people out there, not just LGBTQ individuals, that feel marginalized. Happy Transgender Day of Visibility. Gender identity issues are somewhat new. We all need to stand together against bullying and public attack. You have just unfuck yourself, or I will unscrew your head and chip down your neck! According to regulation, men are allowed to wear clear nail polish while on duty. When I'm in uniform, this makes me feel a bit more feminine because my hands feel pretty when my nails are painted. Why is your foot locker unlocked? Sir, I don't know, sir! I'm an almond. There is one thing in this world that I hate. It is an unmarked foot locker. You know that, don't you? Sir, yes, sir! Being able to undergo a full gender transition beyond hormones, laser hair removal, Botox, lip injections, hair lowering. You slimy scumbag, get on your face and give me 25. Sir, I am working for Uncle Sarah. I love working for Uncle Sarah. Let me know who I am. Let me know just who I
We won 2 world wars, we won everything. They're not going woke. People are not. I know them very well. We defeated ISIS, and we did it in record time, a very few number of weeks. They said it was going to take 5 years. We did it in weeks. They're not going anywhere. In conclusion, with your vote this November, we're going to fire Kamala, and we're going to save America. We will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to Georgia. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III from happening. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a missile defense shield, all of it made in the USA, with a lot made right here. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools, and we will keep men out of women's sports.
I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech. And I will defend the right to keep and bear arms. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country, defend our borders, and protect our citizens. And I will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We're not going to be overrun by anybody. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. And we will bring back the American dream. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig. And that's where we are right now. So you need to get out and vote. For the past 9 years, we have been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. With your vote this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. Remember, it was hardworking patriots like you who built this country. And 8 days from now, it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. After all, we've been together and we have been through a lot. We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. With your help from now until Election Day, we will restore America's promise and we will take back the nation that we love. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God.
That's right. Yes, we are the human race.
We will never give in. We will
That's
never
right.
give up. We will never back down, and we will never, ever surrender. Together, we will
Never
fight,
surrender.
fight, and we will win, win, win.
Win, win, win.
November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again.
Yes.
And we will make America great again. God bless you.
God bless
Go out
America.
and vote, Georgia. Go out and vote. Thank
Vote,
you. God
vote,
bless you
vote.
all. Thank you.
God bless you, Trump.
All right, we can't play that music. Well, Trump said a lot. I know everybody's been listening to a lot of things he's been saying, but what I'm happy about, we at least have one of the candidates that is actually talking to the American people instead of running from the American people. So it's refreshing to see that he is
Oh, Kamala is live right now. You
this
see
is
that?
amazing that he is fighting as hard as he is for us. And he's trying to save America. So I am really happy about that. So I hope that everyone is understanding what we're going through, like what's really actually going on right now. It's like a fight for America. It's like he's fighting for us. So I am really happy about that we have someone that's actually wanted to make America great again and wants to put America first. Because right now we're not first. So where are you guys, where are you guys located?
Amanda said, what is he fighting for?
He's fighting for your rights. He's fighting to lower inflation. I don't know how you people are living, but I'm feeling like I feel like food is my second highest bill. If anybody's been on this chat before, I've said it every time that things are really becoming more out of reach. Like I went to the market. I feel like I go 2 or 3 times a week. I spent maybe today, prior to this chat, I spent like $100, maybe $20. There was nothing in my basket. It really wasn't anything that that would last maybe more than 2 days, 2 or 3 days tops. So there's a big difference of what's going on. And you have to look at people, they can't even afford to buy their own home. Like my son, like he's in college, he's in school, but how's he going to be able to buy his own home? Like with the way the economy is right now, the interest rate, inflation, and this vice president, she's on Shannon Sharp today. I mean, good God. And you know what Shannon Sharp is talking about with her? What did your mother like? She went over the same crap about what music did your Indian mother listen to? Oh, she loved Stevie Wonder. I mean, come on now. We know that's not true. And then she's talking about, oh yeah, I'm not Indian. Shannon called her Indian. Yeah, I'm black. I'm black. She's going to black barbershops. She's going to black news media, trying to fool black people in voting for her. But guess what? We woke. We not falling for that okey doke. I could tell you right now. I think I'm gonna do a video just to show people, or especially my subscribers, show videos with myself and Biden, and show like the video I do have out, so people can see that I'm someone that fully supported the Democratic Party. But I didn't sign up for this mess. If I had known that this was going to happen, putting Biden in office and not knowing that he was suffering from dementia and had this cackling hen that really doesn't know government, she's just been put in positions, but she hasn't learned any of the positions, and it shows. It shows. She can't talk. She can't speak. She can't. How's she gonna represent the United States of America when she runs from even the media to talk to the American citizens? And she wouldn't have to run if she was doing her job. She wouldn't have to run if this administration had did anything for American citizens. So she wouldn't have to run and hide and wanted every time they ask her something, it's Trump fault. Trump is not president or vice president. She is. Biden is. Everything that we're experiencing is from this administration. And she don't even take ownership. She deflects. So it's a lot that's going on right now that we got to take and we got to watch and we got to look at and really make decisions, because my decision is totally different from last time. I thought I had to do everything possible to keep Trump out of office. I believe mainstream media. I thought he was lying. They called him a liar so much. I believed everything that they said about this man. And then until now, when I saw what this man is going through, he's a billionaire. He does not have to go through any of this. All the harassment, the assassination attempts, that this government is not even doing anything. They're sweeping it under the rug that he's been shot at. I mean, how crazy is this? So it's like, you want to get the truth of here. We're not going to sugarcoat it. You have to, it is what it is. But there's no way that I would vote for Tampon Tim and Kamala Harris. There's no way. These people can't lead. She won't even go and sit down with someone that asks her about this economy. How long did you know about Joe Biden was suffering from dementia? They have really destroyed this nation, with especially bringing in all these people that it would take in 30 years to get this invasion amount of people into this country. They did it in 3 years. You can't bring them in like that. And then unvetted. So it's a lot that we have to look at, and she is not for the American people at all. She's for Ukraine. She's for Gaza. She's for funding 2 wars, us being involved in 2 wars. She's for good night, baby. She's for of us sending all our money to Lebanon, $147 million to them, when we have people in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee that just went through a horrific 2 hurricanes, and we're not helping them. You don't even hear about the stuff on the news. The stuff that's going on, they're not bringing the news what's going on in New York. It's just so unbelievable that they're not showing the American people what's happening. You really got to depend on social media and people that have no skin in the game to show you the truth, what's going on. Mainstream media has literally hidden that woman for 84 days. out of her supposedly running for president, and then they talk about democracy and nobody voted for her to run for president. How about that they chose the Democratic person for the people, not what the people had chosen? Let that make sense. So
Yeah, it's ABC saying that.
it's like we don't have to listen to these other parties, but just like Trump said, we got to make this too big to rig. And black people are coming through. They didn't count on, that's why Obama is so angry. He didn't expect black people not to do the same old thing, getting the same results that they're supposed to promise us everything and do nothing. Every election, promise them everything and do nothing. But we're the ones that's actually getting people into office. So it's just crazy what's going on. But anyway, we want to put up some other videos tomorrow. We're going to we really wanted to test out the other things that we were doing, but we've been so busy today, so we want to just put something up today. But there's some things that we need to really post and go over that I think you guys are going to enjoy, and I most definitely want to be in Philadelphia and just to to see what the pulse of the city is, which I think that a lot of people might not admit it. I'm talking about black people, but people are voting for Trump. You got diehards that you had, they got to learn the hard way. This woman, once she went in church and mocked God, it should have been over with then. Nobody should have her behind a pulpit. She already said go to the other rally down the street. So I don't, she's not a Christian and she's not for, this country. So she's showing us who she is. The more she talks, the more we see who she is. And she's not good for the country. And Russia will crush her. China will crush her. They want someone weak like that so they can rule the world. We get a weak president, that's what they want. They'll rule the world. They will rule the world. So anyway, you guys, you want to say something? Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a great rally.
Can they see you?
Yeah, see me.
Okay, we're doing another one tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do another one tomorrow.
Yeah, because we gotta but anyway, make sure you guys vote. We pray that everybody is doing well, all is well. We know there's a lot going on out here. It's kind of crazy. This is like a crazy time right now. So we just like taking it one day at a time. This election we're the countdown. It's 8 days to November the 5th. And I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know how crazy it might be, but I believe that we know Trump is winning. They found people burning, I think, ballots. They're burning ballots. And you got judges that want to allow illegal immigrants to vote in our elections. And that's why they're here. They hear the Democrats are doing things right in front of us. They are literally they're breaking the law left and right. How can a judge rule for someone who's not even American citizen to vote for our president? That's how evil this Democratic Party is. They're not even hiding what they're doing. If the Republicans were doing this, it would be like they would be losing their mind. They were like, look, people would be losing their mind if they were burning ballots, the Republicans, and if they brought illegal immigrants in here and they so-called Trump judges or whatever will allow these illegals to vote. Everyone will be losing their mind, and that's a fact. There's no way that of course, they want Kamala because everything she has done has been for them, have taken out tax dollars and have given it what they've spent, I think even just in New York, $461 billion. They say it's going to cost us $2 trillion to take care of these people. And you see, they want to do this instead of giving black people reparations. They say, okay, we'll give them $13,000 EBT cards, put them in luxury hotels, pay for their cell phones, give them free health care. You know how they break in our healthcare system. We got problems now. We got problems. What is it? Who's saying that? Jay-Z, we got 99 problems and we don't want that one. So we got a lot that's going on. And the worst part about it, that once Trump is elected, because God's going to put him in, no matter how much they try to cheat, that's what I don't like. They're going to fight him tooth and nail to try to fix this country, and to do it in 4 years is impossible. They have done so much to take us back so much, because these people are going to start acting up. Meanwhile, the Venezuelan gangs and the terrorists, they've had years now to formulate a plan on the things they want to cause chaos in this country. We got 13,099 criminals running around this country, that have committed murder. And we have 15,000 rapists. It's like 600,000 of them, of people running around this country that's convicted of crimes. And they're everywhere. They're all over. So it's a lot that we have to take in consideration. When they commit crimes, taking over apartment complexes, who would have thought that people could get away with kicking cops in the head and not be shot dead? You can't do that, Black. This is just has been so unbelievable to see what's been allowed to take place in order for these people to vote. But when that money runs out, it's going to be a bigger mess. So anyway, you guys, thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's going to be all over with. They're here. They're everywhere. They don't even know where they are. They are here. So anyway, you want to say something?
I didn't put that on purpose.
Okay. It's a lot. It's so much kicking cops, and then they had the audacity to let them out an hour or two later, and they're gonna flip them off. I mean, talking about disrespect. They're killing women and children, and it's swept under. The news media is not covering it. They have destroyed New York City. They have destroyed it, and no one is reporting. You don't see mainstream media talking about what's actually happening in this country. You want to find out what's happening? Go online. Go online. Go on YouTube. Yeah, Trump. Okay, Preston, I see you. Thank you, Cindy. Keep fighting the good fight. Trump. Sorry for the yelling. It's okay. That's so. I'm an activist. I'm an advocate. You guys have no idea of how involved in the person that I have been in the past, but I didn't see any of this. I was totally blindsided by this administration, but I've had enough, and there's no way that I would continue to support this mess. I couldn't do it because my conscience wouldn't allow me to act like I don't see what's going on. I want men out of women's sports. A lot of things that's going on, I'm totally not in agreement, especially all this lying and the way they're using the government, weaponizing this government and attacking the candidate, and just not taking care. Most of all, the way that American citizens are being treated, our vets are being treated, our poor are being treated. You're going to step over them for people that have not paid $1 in taxes, have not done anything to support this nation, and you're just going to give them our money all over the world, and then you don't take care of us. That did it for me. We supposed to help home first, then everyone else, but this administration has helped everyone, and no money for the people that are suffering here, and our children. Their children, I think they said 3 million, however many millions of kids, they go to school hungry every day. We're not taking care of our own people, but we're giving millions of dollars to millions and millions of illegal immigrants and terrorists. We're giving them. They're being taken care of by us too. Yeah, so there's a lot of work that has to be done. So we're going to have to fight. Even once he get in office, we got to vote straight down ballot, because you got to have the Senate and the House to get things passed and done. And we're going to have make our voices heard in this election, that we're not falling for the okie doke any longer. We have had enough. I've had enough. So I'm done with this nonsense, and with this woman. Like, if it was Tulsi, okay, she a soldier, she a beast, she could be president, but not this Kamala. She's weak. She can't be president. She's not capable of sitting with world leaders like President Putin. That's how we should be looking at. She has to deal with world leaders. She's incapable of dealing with world leaders. So we have to move on, and maybe another election. If Tulsi runs in 2028, I think that she would be a good example of a woman could
would
be
vote for
president of the United States, and I would love to see who she would pick as her VP.
That'd be great.
But she most definitely, she tough. She's smart, intelligent, articulate. She a soldier. Yeah, she could do it. She knows combat. She could do it. But not Kamala. She's soft. You can't be soft and be president. You have to have some balls to be president. You gotta be tough, because these other world leaders, they respect strength. They do not respect no weak woman that's 5'3" running and hiding from everybody. They already know she weak by her actions. You know, when you're a soldier or you that candidate, you supposed to have confidence. You supposed to run right up to him like David and fight Goliath. This woman runs and hide. No, she's unfit. She's unfit. And then her questions have to be given. Everything has to be scripted. Then she has to have a teleprompter, all the 9 yards, but no real questions. I'm done. I'm over it. So hopefully you guys are waking up. People are seeing really what's going on. Yeah, Candace, I like how she's done her homework. She did some really great investigating reporting. She exposed who Kamala is, her family, how she got that fake grandma black picture. The woman, she had died 4 years before she was born. She used even some of Dr. Martin Luther King. I think some things he said in her book, she plagiarized. She's a big mess. She's a whole mess, and she's gotten ahead because of black men have moved her ahead from what was his name, Willie Brown. He did a lot to get her where she's at, and she was on the arms of Montel Williams and different black men, and now she married a Jewish white husband that had an affair with a nanny. They got her pregnant or something, so she's a mess. So anyway, you guys, thanks for joining us. We got some good stuff coming tomorrow. Thanks, our moderators. Thank you for looking out for us. Chef Gina was on here today. So we're going to make some more, you guys, that are regulars. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If anybody haven't hit the like button, please, give us some more likes or whatever. And thanks, you guys. So anyway, we'll see you. We don't know. We just do this up today. We've been just throwing them up.
Trump shirt.
Yeah, and don't forget, you always could purchase a Trump shirt. Yeah, they had it even where was it, on Forbes? Like the people came in to somewhere he was at, and they was shouting Trump. It has trend a couple of times on Twitter, formerly known X, formerly known as Twitter. So that Trump. I'm proud of it because I started it.
It's only $15.
Yeah, they $15 postage is included. So I'm most definitely going to be wearing it on election day. That's for sure. So anyway, you just subscribed. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Keep praying. Yeah, everyone, you got to vote. We are praying for you. And God bless you guys.
God bless you too.
God bless you, Gina.
Everyone.
And Chef, everyone that's been on here.
Chef.
And who's that? Josh? Yeah, God bless you, Ray, everyone. We see you. Trump. Yeah, y'all stay blessed, stay safe. You guys got to stay safe. You got to watch your surroundings. Just don't walk. You really got to check out your surroundings, because you don't know who's watching you and who's around you. You're going to work and stuff. You have to really be paying attention.
I make sure to go everywhere now with people.
Yeah, but don't just one person. Walk with someone. You go out for lunch at your job or whatever. Do make sure you with other people. But yeah, we got to make this too big to rig. And guess what? God is watching over you. So He said, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up in judgment thou shalt condemn." So. We pray for it, that he who dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I would say to the Lord, He's my refuge, my fortress, my God, in Him will He trust. So that's just Psalm 91. Pray this over you, and for your protection. So glory to God. Jesus is Lord, and Christ is King. And we'll see you guys perhaps tomorrow. We'll bring it up. It's going to be better than this one. So thanks, guys, for spending your time with us. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.
God bless y'all.
God bless you. Peace out.